Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your Vedic astrology coach Kapoor and welcome to my channel The Legit Astrologer. In my channel I make videos on Vedic astrology, I talk about transits. In the recent times I have made a video on predictions for the month of December for all ascendant or moon signs, and it is available on my channel. And once again, thank you for your tremendous support. Our channel just crossed 10,000 subscribers onwards and upwards. Today this video is about a very important transit for the end of 2024 and also the beginning of 2025. This is the transit of Mars. Mars is going to go retrograde on 7th of December in the sign of Cancer, where it has already been going in a debilitated state. This Mars is going to stay in a retrograde motion for about 80 days till 24th of February 2025. It's a long transit that Mars has in the sign of Cancer, where it is not only debilitated but now it is also going retrograde. I have explained the phenomena of retrograde in my previous videos that you can refer to, but one thing is there, that Mars is going to have an extremely slow motion pace over the next few days as it continues to go retrograde. Now before I share with you some very interesting astrological tips and I also talk about how this transit is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant or the moon signs, this particular transit reminds me of the Coldplay song, because Mars is going retrograde, Mercury is going retrograde in the sign of Scorpio, and Jupiter is also going retrograde in the sign of Taurus. And this Mars is also aspecting Saturn by its 8th aspect. This reminds me of the song Fix You by Coldplay. The lyrics are very interesting. When you try your best and you don't succeed, when you get what you want but not what you need, when you feel so tired but you can't sleep, stuck in reverse, and the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace. When you love someone and it goes to waste. Could it be worse? But you must remember, lights will guide you home and ignite your bones. And I will try to fix you. So interestingly, over the next few weeks, I definitely relate the scenario to this beautiful song. So what's happening with Mars for the next 80 days? It is going debilitated and it is also going to go in a retrograde motion. So its initial journey will be extremely slow. Now let me share with you some golden astrological tips before we start talking about how this transit is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs. There is a basic principle in astrology. When an exalted planet goes in a retrograde motion, it is bad. And when a debilitated planet goes in a retrograde motion, it is good. So an exalted planet, if retrograde, behaves as if it's a debilitated planet, and if a debilitated planet gets retrograde, it behaves as if it's an exalted planet. The simple reason for this is, when a planet goes retrograde, it has high Ichha Shakti. It has a very strong 7th aspect. And when a planet is exalted, its 7th aspect will be on the sign where it gets debilitated, and vice versa. When a planet gets debilitated, its 7th aspect will be on the sign where it gets exalted. So therefore, because of its Iksha Shakti, because of its strong desire, Mars is going to be having a very strong aspect on the 7th sign from it, which is the sign of Capricorn, where Mars gets exalted. So this Mars for the next 80 days is going to behave as if it's a Mars in the sign of Capricorn. This is something which no one talks about. So there is little reason to worry. In my opinion, when malefics go debilitated, when malefics on top of that goes debilitated and retrograde, it is a blessing. It is good to have a malefic planet debilitated in the chart, particularly if it's in the Kendra houses. So therefore, it could be an excellent time for growth. And in fact, all transits give mixed results. So the initial days could be extremely slow. You could feel lethargic. Energy would be very, very challenging. So you need to keep your energy levels high consciously. Try to exercise, eat right, and work out. And work to the best of your capability. Another golden tip that I'd like to give you is why Mars is a malefic planet. A matter of fact, why Mars and Saturn are two malefic planets. This is something which no one tries to understand at the deep level. See, the secret here is in the Vara Chakra, in the day lordship. So Mars and Saturn are the only planet which are true malefics. Sun is also being given a state of a malefic planet, but it's more of a Krura Graha. It is not a Papa Graha. It is more of that authoritarian who gets angry and who has the authority to punish. On the other side, Moon and Mercury are such planets whose maleficence depends on a number of factors. connections, whether moon is strong or weak, as far as its bulk is concerned, as far as its strength is concerned. And for Mercury, what planet it conjoins with, what planet is it influenced with. So why Mars and Saturn are the true malefics? Let's understand the Var Chakra or the weekday lordship. Sunday through Saturday, we have 7 days in a week. Sunday is ruled by Sun, Monday by Moon, Tuesday by Mars, Wednesday by Mercury, Thursday by Jupiter, Friday by Venus, and Saturday by Saturn. So let's try and understand this, that there are two lokas. There is a Bhuloka and there is Svargaloka. There is life at this planet Earth, and then there is heaven. So sun indicates birth, it indicates beginnings, it indicates creation, and this creation is at Earth, at planet Earth. Moon is all about sustenance, how we sustain in this world. Mars is about death, death at planet Earth. Now this is about so lordship of the first day of the week, Sunday, which is ruled by Sun. Sun signifies creation. So it is responsible for our creation and our birth on this planet, on this loka. Moon is about sustenance, how we sustain, how we survive ourselves in this world. Mars is about death, it's about destruction. It's about how and why we leave this world. Then Mercury, which rules Wednesday. And now Mercury plays a bridge between life at earth and life at heaven, Bhuloka and Svargaloka. So this is the kind of bridge which Mercury plays. Thursday, which is ruled by Jupiter, it is again about creation, creation at heaven. Venus, that rules Friday, it is about sustenance at heaven. And Saturn, which rules Saturday, it is about death at heaven, it's about destruction at heaven, and that could be even worse. And that is why Saturn plays a very important karmic role in determining what form we will take a rebirth, what form we will be back on this planet Earth, and what will be our existence and the kind of life that we will be living from a karmic standpoint. The third astrological tip about Mars, Mars's home sign is the sign of Scorpio, and its Mool Trikon sign is the sign of Aries. Now Aries is 6th from its home sign, which signifies Mars as a warrior at work. So Mars likes to fight at work, Mars is at battle when it comes to work related pursuits, and this could be seen if Mars is anyway connected to your 1st house, 4th house, 7th house, 9th house, 10th house, or the 11th house, or if Mars in any way has an influence on your ascendant lord or on your 10th lord. You could be in a lot of battle circumstances as far as work related matters are concerned. Whether it's good, whether it's not good, would depend on various other factors, but Mars is one planet which likes to fight at work. So Mars getting debilitated and also retrograde in the sign of Cancer, I call it igniting your potential to the best of your ability. Now let's try and understand how this transit is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs or the moon signs. Let us start with Aries ascendant. For Aries, Mars is your Lagna Lord, Lord of the ascendant. It's your 1st Lord and the 8th Lord. It rules yourself, your overall body, your vitality, your personality, your intelligence, who you are. It is also your 8th Lord of Ayush, longevity. It rules transformation for you, sudden changes, sudden ups and downs in life. Now this Mars, your Lagna Lord, is going to go retrograde in the sign of Cancer in your 4th house of happiness. This is your comfort space, your Sukh Bhava. We also see mother, and we also see the sense of your protection from the 4th house. Now your Lagna Lord making a debilitated transit in the 4th house, it's also forming a yoga in transit. So I do not consider it as a challenging time for you. But what this Mars is doing, when it goes retrograde, so firstly, it is looking back at your 3rd house. 3rd house is the house of efforts, and 4th house determines whether you will be successful in your efforts or not. So this is a small window for you for the next 80 days where the efforts that you're going to put are going to play a vital role in order to determine whether you will be successful in your endeavor or not. So this is one time when you do not have to shy away from putting efforts. You might feel lethargic or low on energy in the first few days, and as and when time would progress, you will feel a lot more better. I would advise you that this is an excellent time to declutter your house. Put all your energy, enthusiasm in cleaning up your house. your space and also your workspace. Mars is going to be making a 7th aspect on your 10th house. I'm not going to talk about other aspects of Mars because the 7th aspect, while it is being retrograde, will be pretty strong. This Mars will behave as if it's the Mars in the sign of Capricorn. So I do expect work related circumstances or situations to change, because this Mars desires career change. It desires you to act on your career change, take things in your own hand. You could expect a sudden decision or sudden change at your workplace or at your home. So you need to be prepared for all these kinds of changes during this time. See, you need to understand one thing, that Mars is supporting your efforts in a very strong manner. You also would have some karma towards your co-borns, towards your siblings that you might have to fulfill during this time. Take care of your mother's health. Make sure that you are in touch with her. Make sure that you're there for her when she needs you. This is also the kind of message that Mars is giving you during this time. So this is an opportunity transit for you to fix your workplace related situation, to your workplace related scenario during this time. And for that, I wish you the very best. Let us now talk about Taurus ascendants. For Taurus, Mars is your 7th lord and the 12th lord, the lord of partnership, marriage, all kinds of agreements, those people who are opposite to you, your spouse, your partner. It is also your 12th lord of bed comforts, of your sleep, your higher self-consciousness, your losses, expenditure. This is the house of unlimited potential. So Mars, without a doubt, plays a very important role in relationship matters. Taurus ascendants have a natural karma towards relationship, a kind of dependency on their partner from a karmic standpoint. This Mars is going debilitated and now making a retrograde transit in your 3rd house of valor, courage, your younger siblings or your co-borns, communication. Change is seen from the 3rd house. This is the Upachaya Bhava, the house of growth. Mars is also said to be the significator of the 3rd house, the natural karaka for the 3rd house. So from that matter, it is quite a good transit for you from a placement point of view. In spite of Mars being a natural and also a functional malefic in your case, this is again an opportunity window for you. So firstly, this Mars is looking back at your 2nd house. 2nd house is the house of wealth, your family, and 3rd house signifies fulfillment of your wealth and of course fulfillment of matters pertaining to your family. So that is going to be the focus of the hour. You would want to look back and take some corrective actions, corrective steps in terms of your financial decisions or matters pertaining to your family. You can also go through some sort of dietary change or dietary requirement during this time. So make sure that you are prepared for it. See, this Mars is also aspecting your 9th house by its 7th aspect of desire, and this is going to be extremely strong during this time, especially when it's in a retrograde motion. So Mars desires dharma. It wants to test your dharma because somehow it will cause a kind of blockage in your dharma, being a functional malefic for you. So you need to protect your dharma, you need to protect your religion. A spiritual journey could be excellent as far as a remedy is concerned during this time. Go on a spiritual travel because your 3 and 9 axis is pretty active, which will make you go on a journey, which will make you go on long journeys as well. And this could also mean that you could start something new. Journey doesn't necessarily mean that you will travel. You could start a new venture, you could start a new work. Those people who are looking forward to getting settled abroad or probably obtaining a permanent residency or a permanent foreign settlement, since Mars is your 12th lord and it is making a connection with the 3-9 axis, this time period could be particularly favorable during its retrograde motion because it will bring some repercussions from a karmic standpoint. So in case your dasha antadasha is supportive, this time period could be particularly favorable for making sure that you move the paperwork ahead. Another good remedy for you could be put all your attention, energy and using your hands. So make sure you journal, work in the kitchen. That is also an excellent remedy to channelize your Mars, your Mangal appropriately. And I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Gemini ascendants. For Gemini ascendants, Mars is one of the potent malefic planets. It's your 6th lord and the 11th lord. 6th lord is a lot of daily routines, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. This is also an Upachaya Bhava, the house of growth. This house also indicates enemies, opposition, debts and diseases, your health and well-being, the loans that you take, and of course your capacity to repay those loans. 11th lord of gains, your wider social network. We also see opposition and bigger enemies from the 11th house because this is your 6th from the 6th house. This Mars is going retrograde and it has been going debilitated in your second house. Now it's going to go in a retrograde motion. So second house is your house of family, your kutumba bhava, your wealth, finances, your food, what you consume, your storage space, and of course how you share what you have with those who you love. So what is happening as far as this particular transit is concerned? So there is of course some sort of financial karma, some sort of financial decisions that you will have to make during this time. So you will be very much involved in managing your family, your finances, and of course you will definitely 100% go through some sort of changes as far as your dietary requirement is concerned. One excellent remedy to channelize this Mars is already in a water sign and Mars is a fiery planet. You need to ensure that you keep yourself hydrated all the time. Make sure you drink at least 4 to 5 liters of water. Consume more liquids, consume pomegranate, consume citrusy fruit or consume berries during this time. This could be quite excellent for you, quite good for you in terms of wealth creating opportunities. Now this Mars is looking back at your ascendant, so it is looking back at your lagna. So it wants you to fix certain decisions that you have taken which are pertaining to your body. Fulfillment of your body, so whether your intelligence, your body, your vitality, whether you will get fulfillment is something which we see from the second house, from the lagna itself. So it will definitely make you more conscious about your physical appearance, about your exercise routine, and the fact that you need to work out, or maybe you need to have some good changes as far as your body is concerned. So this is something which you could be mindful of. Your health and well-being, the focus would be a lot on your health and well-being. So this is something which could be the need of the hour. Now this Mars is going to be making a 7th aspect on your 8th house during this time, right? So there's a high desire for transformation, there's a high desire for dealing with suddenness in life, dealing with sudden changes. Suddenly you could also have a huge interest in occult sciences, in Jyotish, or in research related subjects, but at the same time it would want you to fix a lot of things in your life as far as your health and well-being is concerned, so that you become more resilient and you are prepared for all the kind of circumstances and situations. So mentally it is going to make you tough. You have to take care of your vani, take care of your speech, what you say, how you say. Make sure that you're humble and you're grounded all the time. Otherwise it could have repercussions as far as your relationship matters are concerned, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Cancer ascendants. What's happening with Cancer ascendants as Mars goes retrograde while being debilitated? For you, Mars is a Yoga Karaka planet because it is your fifth lord of future, of progress. We also see corruption from the fifth house. We see children, we see unconditional love from the fifth house. I always say that fifth lord is one of the most important planets in a chart. Mars also rules your 10th house, which is the house of action. Your action in the society, your work, your profession, your karma, it is the karma bhava. Both 5th house and 10th house have been called Rajya bhavas, or house of kingdom, based on Brihad Parashar Hora Shastra. So Mars is a very important planet for you. It has already been going in your lagna, in your ascendant, but in a debilitated state. Now it will go retrograde. So this Mars is going to behave as if it's a Mars in the sign of Capricorn. So it is going Ucha, for a matter of fact. It is behaving as it's in an exalted state. It's in a happy state all the while. So definitely some transformation you could expect at a personal level, because in your ascendant Mars has been making a long transit all the while. So one quick remedy for you would be, because Mars is a fiery planet, you are a watery ascendant. Mars is in a very compassionate sign of Cancer. You need to drink plenty of water. You need to keep yourself hydrated all the while to channelize the fiery energies and maintain calmness in your life. If you have aggressive energies, use those aggressive energies in working out, in exercising, in going for a run, going for a jog. Go out there, connect with the nature. This is something which you can also do during this time. So Mars is looking back at your 12th house. So it wants you to fix your sleep. It wants you to curtail your expenditure. Take care of your expenditure, and of course at the same time make sure that you are more self-aware. You need to be highly self-conscious during this time. This is something which you could enhance by the virtue of your self-awareness. Understand your key strengths and how you can build on these strengths. By the virtue of fact, become a self-aware and a conscious leader during this time. This is the opportunity which you have. Other remedy could be that you need to make some donations, because 12th house is also the house of giving away. So it will of course be a good time for you to make some donations. This Mars will be aspecting your 7th house by its 7th aspect of desire, and I'm going to talk about this aspect only because when a planet goes retrograde, its 7th aspect is very strong, it is very powerful. So this desires some sort of relationship karma. So you need to ensure that you put your energy, your enthusiasm and your communication in relationship. Okay, so your relationship should be driven by the virtue of compassion, by the virtue of empathy. So these are two key words. If you want to fix your relationship, you need to be more compassionate and you want to be an empathetic listener. So make sure that you listen to your partner, not just listen to the words and meanings, but also listen to the feelings. And this is how you will be able to fix your relationship. This is how you will be able to mend your ties. Otherwise, this could have severe repercussions as far as your relationship matters are concerned. So this is a test for you in terms of relationship. So Mars is exalted, and of course it is exalted in a state of mind. It is debilitated and going retrograde. So therefore I am using this terminology to make you more familiar with the fact, and I wish you the very best. Now let us talk about Leo Ascendants. What's happening with Leo Ascendants as far as Mars is retrograde and debilitated transit in the sign of Cancer. For Leo, Mars is a Yoga Karaka planet. It is also a Badaka planet, so it plays two important roles. So whether it will deliver the results of Yoga Karaka or Badakesha would depend on the placement of Mars and would also depend on the timing. So it could give either results, but most of the cases I have seen Mars giving very good results for Leo Ascendants regardless of its placement or the connections. It is your 4th lord and the 9th lord. 4th lord of your happy space, your comfort space, your mother, your homeland, and of course where you feel most comfortable. It is also your 9th lord of Bhagya. It is your Bhagyesha. It rules fortune for you, higher education, long distance travel, long distance journeys is what Mars rules during this time. Okay, the Mars rules for you. This Mars is going debilitated already, and now it is going to make a retrograde transit. And this retrograde transit and debilitated transit is happening in your 12th house of losses, of expenditure, of higher self-consciousness. So one thing is for sure, that your energy, enthusiasm is in the 12th house. You need to fix your sleep, because that is something which has been causing a lot of disruption in your life. So that is something which you need to fix during this time. This is an opportunity for you. See, remember this Mars, which is a Yoga Karaka planet, is looking back at your 11th house. So 11th house is the house of gains. Whether you will be able to fulfill, whether you will be able to utilize what you gain in the right manner is seen from the 12th house. So this is an opportunity window for you to cut down on your expenditure, to make a savings plan. And of course, planning of expenditure, this could be a good exercise for you to do some sort of budget analysis for your own self, for your family, and of course for your well-being as far as the future is concerned. So this is something which you could do. How well you utilize your resources, how well you utilize your income, your gains, this is something which you need to think through. You might also have a relationship karma towards your friends. So you might need to resolve a conflict with a friend, or you might need to mend some ties during this time. So make sure that you put your energies in those matters. This Mars is aspecting your 6th house by its 7th aspect of desire during this time. Mars has a very strong 7th aspect. This Mars is going to behave as if it's an exalted Mars in the sign of Capricorn while it is debilitated and retrograde. So it wants to have a lot of desire as far as your daily actions are concerned, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. One thing is quite certain, that you will be able to overcome opposition, you will be able to overcome and defeat your enemies during this time in case you follow the path of Mars, which is stay energized, exercise, eat right. These are the few things which you need to do, and make sure that you get good 8 hours of sleep, because if you do that, you will be energized, and of course by the virtue and the blessings of Mars, you will be able to overcome your enemies or any kind of opposition during this time, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Virgo Ascendants. What's happening with Virgo Ascendants as far as Mars' transit in the sign of Cancer is concerned, where it is going debilitated and also retrograde for about 80 days. For Virgo, Mars is your 3rd lord and the 8th lord, the lord of valor, courage, change, your younger siblings, your efforts, your communication, and of course what you do using your hands, how you use your hands. We also see Guru Upadesha from the third house, blessings of your mentor or your Guru or your teacher. Now this Mars also rules your 8th house of longevity, of Ayush, your sudden changes, sudden ups and downs, transformation. This Mars is making a transit in your 11th house in the sign of Cancer. It has already been going debilitated and now it will go retrograde as well. Mars is one of the potent malefics for you. So this is an opportunity transit. So firstly, any planet that makes a transit in the 11th house is considered good, whether it's a malefic, and this kind of malefic which is going debilitated and retrograde, this Mars will behave as if it's in an exalted state. So this is an opportunity window for you for the next 80 days to get some recognition, to get a rise in your income and improve your overall financial position. So this is how I see this transit. See, this transit is looking back firstly at your 10th house. So it wants to fix some decisions pertaining to your workplace. How you would see that your workplace is being fulfilled. If there is fulfillment at work, it will be seen from the 11th house because that is second from the 10th house. So this will ask you to look back and take some corrective decisions, corrective steps as far as your work scenario is concerned. So you can reach towards state of fulfillment. You can bring in some sort of stability as far as your workplace is concerned. Those who are looking forward to new opportunities, new job, new work, and of course new line of business, this could be a particularly favorable time in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. This Mars is making a 7th aspect on your 5th house, which is a very strong aspect of desire, and as I've said that this Mars is going to act as if it's an exalted Mars. So it desires future planning, and of course change is inevitable as far as future is concerned. It's an excellent time for you to sit down, jot down the points, and of course your goals, things that you intend to achieve, let's say in 2025 and beyond, and particularly focus on wealth creating opportunities, how you can increase and enhance your wealth during this time. Your decision making could be quite positive and quite strong, and that is how it could favor you, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Libra Ascendants. For Libra Ascendants, Mars is your 2nd lord and your 7th lord. The lord of family, your consumption, your storage space, wealth, your speech, what you consume, what you eat, and also the 7th lord of relationship, those people who are opposite to you, your business partnership, the agreements that you make. We also see war or opposition from the 7th house. So Mars, without a doubt, plays a very important role in relationship matters and family matters for Libra Ascendants. And of course, from that matter, it has some importance. Now this Mars has already been going debilitated in your 10th house, and now it will make a retrograde motion. So firstly, I have mentioned this in my previous videos as well. Mars is said to be Digbali, or it gains directional strength in 10th house. So therefore, there are blessings of the Devata during this time. So as a matter of fact, it is quite a supportive transit, and now for the next 80 days, this Mars will behave as if it's in the sign of Capricorn, as if it's in an exalted state. And this is the opportunity that you have to excel and prosper as far as workplace related matters or opportunities are concerned. This Mars is going to look back at your 9th house of Dharma, of fortune, and of course whether you will have fulfillment of your fortune, fulfillment of your Dharma, fulfillment of your journeys in higher education and knowledge will be seen from the 10th house, which is second from the 9th house. So this is taking a step back, reflecting and taking some corrective decisions to fix your fortune, and of course how you would do that by learning something new. So you need not be reliant on fortune to solve things for you. You need to take things in your own hand. So I would highly encourage you to enroll yourself in a course, go for higher learning and learn about those things that could help you at your workplace, that could help you excel over the next few months. And if you do that, you could have growth, you could have promotion, you could have newer and better opportunities. So this is an excellent time to fix your workplace. This Mars is aspecting your 4th house by its 7th aspect of desire. It has high desire during this time because it's going retrograde. So it also desires comfort. It also desires you to build credible relationship and improve the workplace situation, workplace scenario. It's also a pretty good time to declutter your workspace and also your home. Make sure that you clean, make sure that you give away those things that you don't need, some old material, some old stuff, you donate it, old clothes, and this is something how you could channelize this Mars appropriately. It wants you to also make some decisions pertaining to real estate, assets, land. So it is making an aspect in the 4th house. So in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive, this could be an opportunity for you to either make some changes in your house, do some renovation, or at the same time you could buy a new house, invest in real estate, or make some decisions pertaining to buying and selling of real estate. And for that, I wish you the very best. Now let us talk about Scorpio Ascendants. For Scorpio Ascendants, Mars is an important planet because it's your Lagna Lord. It is the Lord of the Ascendant. It's your first Lord, the Lord of self, your overall body, your vitality, your personality, your immunity. We also see knowledge and intelligence from the first house. This is a very important Lord. Mars is also your 6th Lord of daily routines, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. We also see intelligence from the 6th house. We see growth from the 6th house. 6th house is an Upachaya Bhava. We also see enemies, oppositions, deaths and diseases are also seen from the 6th house. So it is all about your debts. It's all about how you repay your debts during this time, right? So Mars is making a debilitated transit and also going retrograde in your 9th house of Bhagya, fortune, long distance journey, higher learning, higher education is also seen from the 9th house. This is an important transit for you. It's a long transit that Mangal has during this time, which is making a transit in your 9th house. It is an opportunity window, and now for the next 80 days this Mangal is going to behave as if it's in the sign of Capricorn. It is in an exalted state in your 9th house. So of course fortune is going to be quite favorable. You must take a spiritual retreat, go on a spiritual journey, go on a spiritual place where you can get some blessings and also get some positivity and positive energy in your life. This Mars is looking back at your 8th house. So whether the change that you bring in, whether it's a forced change or you are willing to change, and of course your transformation, whether that will be have some sort of fulfillment or not, this is going to be a testing time for you because it wants you to change. It wants you to accept the fact that there could be suddenness in life and you have to deal with suddenness. So it is going to make you mentally strong because your decision making is going to be quite strong. You're going to be decisive about a few things. You're going to be very clear in your head in terms of the direction that you need to head and how are you going to do that. This Mars is also making a 7th aspect on your 3rd house. So your 3 and 9 axis is pretty active. Since Mars is retrograde, it has a very strong aspect on the 3rd house. So it desires travel, it desires change, it desires you to mend your relationship with your co-bonds, with your siblings. So there could be some karma. Maybe they reach out to you or reach out to them. So you got to help each other. And this is how I see this transit, that you need to connect back with your siblings. And of course, you could have a start of a journey, start of a new work, or some sort of fruitful travel over the next few weeks. That could be quite beneficial for you, and I wish you the very best. Now let us talk about Sagittarius Ascendants and what's happening with Sagittarius Ascendants as far as Mars is transit, which is a debilitated and retrograde transit in the sign of Cancer, which is going to last for about 80 days. For you, Mars is the 5th Lord and the 12th Lord. So being the 5th Lord, it is one of the most important planets for Sagittarius. It rules future, your children, unconditional love, your ability to progress and have positional growth, positional success is seen from the 5th house, whether you will achieve greater heights in your life or not as far as position and authority is concerned. And this Mars also rules your 12th house, which is the Lord of expenditure, your losses, your higher self-consciousness, your sleep, bed comforts, and of course your ability to be more self-aware. This Mars is making a retrograde transit and a debilitated transit in the 8th house. So there are two things that are happening. So one, this is a natural Viparita Yoga in transit. This is also a natural Neecha Bhanga Yoga in transit. So this is one opportunity that you're getting, which you might not get for the next few years, because Mars of course will go debilitated once in a year and a half, right, in this house. But this will not go retrograde for the next few years, right? This is for sure. So this Mars is behaving as if it's a Mars in the sign of Capricorn. It's behaving as if it's exalted. So firstly, it is looking back at your 7th house here. So it wants you to fix your relationship. So 8th house is also called the Mangalya Bhava, fulfillment of your marriage, whether you will be happy in your marriage or not. Some people say it plays a role in separation. No, I disagree. It plays a role in fulfillment of your marriage because it's second from your 7th house. So it wants you to look back and re-evaluate some of the decisions that you have taken which are pertaining to your relationship. So it is going to bring in more fulfillment as far as your marriage is concerned, because it is going to be in a good dignity for a period of 80 days. So this is where you need to make the most of your relationship. Make sure that you listen to your spouse, you take their advice during this time in case you're married. In case you're not married, you could come across new relationship, you could come across a potential partner during this time. This could be extremely favorable for you. You could have greater interest in occult sciences, in Jyotish, in astrology, or any of the other hidden subjects that require a lot of research, that require a lot of study, that requires in-depth understanding, and it requires intuition as well. So you will be able to build your intuitive capabilities. Though this is a characteristics which is more or less inborn, it's innate, but then you can build it up over the course of time. This Mars is going to have a 7th and a very strong aspect on your 2nd house. So it desires your financial decisions. So your financial decisions for future are going to be put at test. So you could make some savings, you could make some investments, and I would advise you to make them in the long run, in the long term. What are some of those decisions that you could take which are in the best interest of your family? So you could definitely have a rise in your income in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive during this time, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Capricorn Ascendants. What's happening with Capricorn Ascendants as far as Mars is transit in the sign of Cancer is concerned, where it is debilitated and also retrograde. For you, Mars is the 4th Lord and the 11th Lord. The Lord of your happiness, your comfort space, Sukh Bhav, your mother, your homeland, where you feel most protected, your happy space, and also your 11th Lord of gains, of comforts, of your friends. And we also naturally see obstacles from the 11th house. We see bigger enemies from the 11th house. 11th Lord doesn't hold a very good place in the chart as far as its dignity is concerned, as far as its nature is concerned, but this Mars is also your 4th Lord. So for Capricorn, Mars is more or less a neutral planet. This Mars is going debilitated and also now going retrograde in your 7th house of marriage, partnership, relationship, your business. We also see war from the 7th house, because this house represents peace and also war. This is the Jaya Bhava. So this Mars firstly is looking back at your 6th house. So it wants to fix your daily life, your daily routine, and of course whether you will have some sort of fulfillment in your daily life is concerned, whether you will stop complaining, stop blaming other things and take things in your hand, would be dependent more or less on this time. So one thing, you have to fix this. So in case you have some loans, in case you have some debts during this time, you could see a capacity for repaying those loans, for repaying to the best of your ability, because this is going to bring you some sort of gain, some sort of relief. Your partner is going to gain during this time. So this is something which is going to be an interesting time for your partner. So make sure that you take each other's, you have each other's back, and of course you're there to support your partner. And when you need support, do not hesitate to reach out. Do not hesitate to reach out to them. So your daily routine, daily life needs a lot of fixing, a lot of energy that you need to put in each and every day. So lethargy has no space in life. Get up in the morning, go for a run, exercise, eat right. And another piece of advice is drink plenty of water, at least 4 to 5 liters of water. Stay hydrated, because this Mars is making a 7th aspect on your 1st house. It has high desire, and it is acting as if it's an exalted Mars. See, understand, Mars in 7th house gains Maran Karaka position, so you will have to put in more efforts. But momentary period for 80 days, Mars is behaving as if it's exalted. So you have some sort of relief as far as this particular time period is concerned. The 7th aspect would mean that you need to build your physical strength, your physical capability. And this is something which you need to transform, which you need to change. So you could go some changes as far as your overall body, your personality is concerned. And this is how it is going to help you, and this is what my advice will be for you, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Aquarius Ascendants. Now what's happening with Aquarius Ascendants as far as Mars is transit in the sign of Cancer is concerned, which is going to be debilitated and also retrograde. For you, Mars is the 3rd Lord and the 10th Lord, and it is more of a neutral planet because it also rules your 10th house. 10th house of your karma, your action in the society, your work, your profession, what you do in this world, and how you are able to survive and sustain yourself and your loved ones. For all job related matters, Mars plays a very important role. It is also your 3rd Lord of valor, courage, your co-borns, your younger siblings particularly, efforts, communication, what you do from your hands, the house of growth, because this is also the Upachaya Bhava. This Mars has already making a debilitated transit in your 6th house, and now it is going to go retrograde. So it is debilitated as well as retrograde. So for a period of 80 days, this Mars will behave as if it's a Mars in the sign of Capricorn. That means it is in an exalted state. It's not literally in an exalted state, but this is how its dignity will be perceived during this time. So what is happening here is, firstly, this Mars is looking back at your 5th house. So there are some matters pertaining to your children that might need attention, whether you will have fulfillment with regards to children, relationship with children, your creative pursuits, your progress, your success in life, and your future endeavors. So this is something which you need to be mindful of. You need to think through and act to the best towards your future. It could be an excellent time for you to set your goals. Sit down, pen down. Since Mars is your 3rd lord, anything that you do in writing is going to have a huge impact, because there you're using your hands. So if you pen down your goals, this could be a good time for you to fix things that you do on a day-to-day basis. So for a brief momentary period, you will be able to overcome opposition, overcome your enemies during this time. You will have some sort of contentment and relaxation as far as your daily life is concerned, the hurdles that you have for your daily life. This Mars is aspecting your 12th house by its 7th aspect of desire. So there are two things very strongly that Mars desires during this time. Firstly, it desires spirituality, because we see spirituality from the 12th house, your higher self-consciousness. So practice yoga, do some sort of sadhana, meditation, or any form of exercise during this time. That could be extremely beneficial for you. And Mars wants you to fix your sleep so that you get a lot of energy all through the day. There could also be matters pertaining to your expenditure that you might need to curtail, that you might need to control. So maybe do like a budget exercise or something that could help you. Instead of making irrelevant expenditure, focus on long-term savings and long-term investment and how you utilize your finances. Your work-related matters could be also on a priority. So in case you are looking forward to changing a job, starting a new line of work, starting a new business or a new job, this could be a particularly favorable time, because this Mars is in your 6th house, debilitated, retrograde, and it is your 10th lord, and we see job from both these houses. Though this could put you back to work, and back to work for good, and I wish you the very best. Now let's talk about Pisces ascendants and what's happening with Pisces ascendants as far as Mars is transit in the sign of Cancer is concerned. It has already been going debilitated. Now Mars will go retrograde on 7th of December for the next 80 days. Mars is your 2nd lord and the 9th lord. So without a doubt, it plays a very important role in wealth related matters. It's the 2nd lord of wealth, your family, your kutumba bhava, your speech, the house of consumption, the house of storage. We also see how your capacity is as far as things or places or people who you would like to protect, particularly the people. And of course, this is something which is seen from the 2nd house. Mars is also your 9th lord of bhagya, fortune, long journeys, higher knowledge. Spiritual knowledge is also seen from the 9th house. And at the same time, any journeys that you take, anything that you start, and of course, how fortune plays a role in terms of supporting you, because this is your bhagya bhava. So Mars is a very important planet for you. This Mars has already been going debilitated, not in a very good state, but now it will go retrograde. And I have mentioned this in the beginning, when a debilitated planet goes retrograde, it behaves as if it's exalted. So this Mars momentary period for 80 days will behave as if it's in the sign of Capricorn in an exalted state. This is happening in your 5th house. 5th house of future, your children, your unconditional love, your progress, positional success is also seen from the 5th house. So what is happening? Firstly, this Mars is looking back at your 4th house. So how you will have fulfillment in your life as far as your comfort space is concerned, relationship with your mother is concerned, and of course your happy space, whether you will be content with your happy space, and of course whether you will be content at your home in your personal life is seen from the 5th house, because it is 2nd from your 4th house. So it wants you to look back at your 4th house and make some corrective steps. Maybe you need to declutter your house. Maybe you need to improve relationship with your mother. So this is something which you need to find out what is missing, what is going on in your life. You need to take some decisions pertaining to your real estate, pertaining to your assets, your vehicle or your house. Maybe you got to make an investment in a new property, or you need to make some buying or selling decisions. This could be quite crucial during this time, and you could have some financial gains pertaining to these decisions in case your dasha antardasha is supportive, because this Mars is making a transit in your 5th house. So this is also a natural dhan yoga in transit, which is being quite supportive for you, because this Mars is spending a lot of time in Cancer during this particular transit. So this Mars will also make a 7th aspect. Mangal is aspecting your 11th house by its 7th aspect of desire, and when it is retrograde, this aspect is particularly strong. So it desires gains, it desires you to influence by your energy. So you would need a lot of energy during this time if you were to influence your stakeholders, if you were to influence people with authority. So you will be in a position to influence authoritative people or those people who are at high ranks during this time. So in case you deal with them, you could have some benefit as far as this particular time period is concerned. But from a wealth point of view, from financial point of view, I see this as a positive transit. Make sure that you drink plenty of water. See, 5th house is related to your stomach, and Mars is a fiery planet. So in order to channelize your energies, you need to drink at least 4 to 5 liters of water and ensure that you're hydrated. And I wish you the very best, and may you have a pleasant transit of Mars. So friends, this was about Mars's Mangal's transit in the sign of Cancer, where it is going debilitated and also retrograde. I hope and believe this Mars's transit brings a sense of opportunity for you, because it will be in a good dignity. It will behave as if it's an exalted Mars, and it fulfills our life with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and at the same time we stay grounded and compassionate towards other people. Thank you very much. God bless you all.